She is seductive. She is passionate. She is possessive. She is pure. Evil. She is Christine, a 1958 Plymouth Fury, possessed by hell.
Hey guys, I'm Kevin.
I'm Jake.
And welcome to Movie Matters. Today we're talking about our last John Carpenter film of the month for Halloween, Christine, 1983, about a killer car. First time seeing it, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was awesome. Also, it was kind of funny. What'd you think?
Yeah, I liked it overall. There were certain aspects of the movie that I thought were absolutely awesome, and some aspects were kind of shit. But overall, it's enjoyable and fun. So yeah, I could kind of look past some of the parts that I thought were kind of stupid. But yeah, I mean, overall, the concept, is like not super impressive, but he executed it in a fun and kind of interesting way. So,
yeah, definitely an interesting concept. Just like, imagine pitching. Yeah, granted, this is a Stephen King novel. Just imagine pitching this. Yeah, I'm going to make a movie about a killer car. There's another movie apparently called The Car that's about a killer car as well. I'm going to look that up real quick. The Car. From 1977.
Okay.
So it came before this.
Yeah. And I did a little bit of reading up on the book, just for the sake of like comparison. It seems like they're pretty close, the movie and the book. A couple details changed, but nothing that's really like crazy impactful, I think, to the overall plot or anything. Yeah. But yeah, I read that the movie started filming 3 days after the book was published. Which is
that's what
nuts.
I read too.
And like, this is kind of like right in, I think, the heart of like when Stephen King stuff really started blowing up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting.
I made a whole list of 80s Stephen King movies,
There are a lot.
Yeah, so first one's The Shining, which we've done. Creepshow, which I've never seen. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay, we just did Christine. And this is in order of release date. Cujo, which I've never seen. Have you seen Cujo?
Nope.
Okay, I've never seen it yet. The Dead Zone, I've watched that recently. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that one.
Christopher Walken. It's pretty good. Pretty interesting. It's a Cronenberg movie. From the guy from The Fly. Children of the Corn, which I hate to say it, I've actually never seen it.
Yeah, I have seen that.
And
it's a little lame, but
yeah, I heard it's not great. Silver Bullet, I hear is pretty cool. I've never seen that.
I might have seen that one.
Okay.
It's a werewolf movie, I think.
Makes sense. Cat's Eye, which I've never heard of.
I've heard of it. I have not seen it.
Stand By Me, which I've seen. Have you seen Stand By Me?
Yeah.
Great movie.
A long time ago.
Yeah, I want to rewatch it. It's good. Maximum Overdrive, which I hear isn't great, but I think it's streaming on like Prime or something, and I keep seeing it every time I'm like scrolling through. And it's all with streaming, all my movies are like 80s movies that are recommendations.
Yeah.
It's just like because of this podcast. Creepshow 2, obviously we haven't seen the first one, so I doubt you've seen the second one, Jake.
Yeah.
I've not seen it. The Running Man, which we did a podcast on. And then Pet Sematary, which I hate to also say I've never seen, but I think I'm going to watch it this weekend.
Again, think I've seen it, but I'm not 100% sure that I've seen the entire movie.
Okay.
I feel like I watched like the TV AMC version that probably cuts like 45 minutes out of the movie. So
Yeah, but it adds 45 minutes in commercials.
yeah, so it all evens out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll go out on a limb and give my controversial take for the episode. I kind of think Stephen King is super overrated.
Whoa. Okay.
So like the concept of Christine is really stupid. Like a lot of the premises of his books are really stupid. Granted, a lot of them he wrote while he was on cocaine, and like he admits himself that he doesn't remember writing a lot of his books. So there's that. But I do think having such a kind of lame premise of like a car that's evil actually like turned out to be a decent movie. Like so yeah, I'm not mad that we watched this. It's fun. I think the only parts of it that really like sucked in my opinion are the parts that probably were more Stephen King story development kind of parts. Like how the girls getting jealous of the car and like stuff like that. Like it's like it drags for so long. And like it's like okay, like we get it, you know. Like there's just a long period of Arnie's like growing infatuation with the car that could have been condensed and or could have been handled in a different way. I don't know. It's just like sometimes I think the way that King structures things, he likes to dwell on some of that like developmental stuff that's like not super interesting in like a horror context.
Yeah, I get that. He also is kind of a creep, dude.
Yeah, hardcore creep, big time. That's also why I don't really like him.
Yeah.
Like, I will say The Shining is an excellent book. It's definitely worth reading. But it's also the one movie that he like absolutely hates, which is hilarious to me.
Yep.
And ironically enough, he hates Christine as well. So,
Interesting.
yeah, he called Christine and The Shining boring.
Interesting. I didn't know.
So-
Okay, so I didn't see that. I didn't look that up.
Yeah, I think he's also just kind of like pompous and a bit of an asshole. So
Yeah, I could see
yeah.
that too. So
in addition to being a creep,
yeah, so I get why you think he's overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of his stuff is good. I mean, I've never read his books, so I can't really speak to that. I just only watch the movies because I don't want to read because I'm.
yeah, I mean, I
Slow.
read or I listened to it on audio when the new movie came out
Oh, cool.
because I was curious and like it's a decent book. The ending is very questionable.
Is that with the like kids orgy?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There's a child orgy that's not necessary at all, and really makes you question what he was thinking. But yeah, the rest of the book is decent. It's good. It's interesting. That is actually like one of the better like concepts that he has. That's like truly like original. Same with The Shining. You know, it's like a pretty interesting concept. But yeah, I mean, this isn't a Stephen King episode, so we can.
He did Shawshank, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
He wrote Shawshank, yeah.
Which is also, I mean, I haven't, well, I think there's a book
Shawshank
I
book?
have to double check. He might have just wrote the screenplay, but I can't remember
Yeah,
for sure.
novella. It's a novella.
Okay.
Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I think the filmmakers have a little bit more to do with the success of that movie than Stephen King's source material, but that's okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, so anyway, that's my take on Stephen King. But I'm glad that this movie is actually like fun, and I think Carpenter really struck the right tone with this movie.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's scary. I
No,
mean, a
not
car
at all,
trying to kill
but it's-
people.
It's like it's almost like a slasher movie without being full of jump scares.
Yeah.
In a weird kind of way, but
It's just cool.
yeah.
I mean, we love cars, and we like murder in movies. So, and I like a lot of the actors in it. Like Robert Prosky's awesome in everything. He's so great. He's like the Darnell, the mechanic that owns the mechanic shop. Yeah, yeah, I liked it. I mean, I gave it a high review. Like, it's entertaining. Just coming from The Thing, and obviously we did the podcast on that. This is right after that, and the effects in this movie are really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
I expected it to be a lot cheesier than it really was. It really wasn't that cheesy, minus Arnie basically banging the car, which there's a lot of reviews. So I use Letterboxd, which is an app that you can review movies on and see what your friends are watching, and I've gotten Jake on it. Shout out to Brandon for getting me on it. He'd be disappointed if he listened to this and then I didn't shout him out. But there's a lot of reviews are like, yeah, he fucked that car, didn't he? Like every review is like that. So, but I like the whole. I didn't expect the whole dynamic of like you've got the popular guy Dennis who's a football star, and you've got the nerd Arnie who's the guys everyone bully and make fun of. And I liked that different dynamic between the two of them because I feel like you didn't see that too often in movies, or at least the ones we've watched so far for the 80s movies. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I really like the dynamic, and I also think that added to the comedic aspect of the movie, especially with the high school scenes where you've got the bullies bullying Arnie, and the shit they say and the shit they do and the things that they say to the teacher are just like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like they call Buddy is the main bully's name, and Buddy calls the teacher a bald fuck.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. He like pulls a fucking switchblade knife. Or it's a stiletto, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a stiletto. He pulls a stiletto out, which is insane.
Yeah.
He's also like, he looks like he's fucking 30, which is hilarious. But there's some crazy funny ass lines in this movie that just get me and just made me laugh my ass off. There's a lot of talk of pussy in this movie, and it's very interesting. For example, the one guy that sells Christine to Arnie is just like, yeah, she's still got that new car smell. Nothing better than that new car smell other than pussy. Just like, what?
Yeah.
I just was
Which
like,
is like, it's never warranted. It's just like thrown in. It's like,
it's
okay.
thrown in there. And it's just like so out of the blue. And they like don't respond to that, which is even funnier.
Yeah.
They're not like, oh, okay. It's like, is that commonplace in the 80s? I don't know.
I don't know.
And there's another line that Arnie says he says something about pussy again. I forget what it was.
Well, he repeats the line that the guy
Does he?
says
In the end?
Yeah, like right near the end.
Okay, that's probably
He
what I'm
says the
thinking
same
of.
exact thing. But yeah, I mean but like also it's like if that's how you really feel, like why didn't you stick with your girlfriend? You know, like you chose the car. Like
Yeah. Well, he was
like,
possessed.
all right.
He's possessed. You know, it's a satanic car. Like, we watched the trailer for it before this, like we do every episode. And the trailer for this was honestly probably one of the better trailers we've watched.
Yeah, really, really original and really
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, speaking of that, the movie didn't make a ton of money based on, you know, obviously the marketing material that we liked. It was made for a $9.7 million budget, which is decently high. I mean, it kind of makes sense with the amount of cars that they had to go through. It made $21 million at the box office, so it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. Just like pretty much all of Carpenter's movies except Halloween, which I just watched actually over the weekend, and that's awesome. It's so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
But the 15, I was looking for the fact, 15% of that budget, 15% of 9.7 million was used for the cars.
Yeah.
Which is insane. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But also makes sense. I mean, think about like Fast and Furious and stuff like that, all those crap with those crazy high budget. Yeah, I mean, it's the whole car culture of the movie is really cool, and I love how it starts off with Bad to the Bone by George Thorogood, which he apparently had a deleted cameo at the end of the movie at the junkyard, but apparently his acting was trash, so they cut it, which is fucking hilarious.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and I love how the movie starts with it, and I love how the movie ends with it, because every time I hear that song I think of Terminator 2.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but it's really cool. It's like I wondered, again, having not seen this movie, I wondered how they were going to make it effective. And they do it right off the bat, where it's coming off the assembly line, and the one inspector opens the hood and is like looking, and then his hand gets crushed in the hood, which is cool. The only thing I wish is, you know, you've got that one inspector who like goes in the car and is smoking a cigar and drops the ash on the seat, and then he winds up dead, which you don't know how. I wish it showed his death and how he died, which would be cool. But it really gives you that sense of, okay, this car is evil and possessed in such a simple and I want to say organic way.
Yeah. That's like probably the biggest difference between the movie and the book is in the book, the car is actually possessed by the old man that sells the car to Arnie, because he passes away shortly after, and then his evil soul kind of inhabits the car.
Yeah.
Where in the movie, obviously, his brother is the one that's selling the car, but his brother's evil spirit has nothing to do with the car. The car was born bad. So yeah, I kind of like that better. That like this car's just evil. Like,
me too.
For whatever reason, you know. Again, it's like that Carpenter like mystery, ambiguity, you know, kind of thing, and like, just adds that like level of intrigue, you know, that makes you want to find out what's going on, even though you never do, but it's still fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Carpenter is the perfect guy to direct this movie. He does such a good job with it. And it didn't feel too long for me. It was pretty simple. It wasn't trying to be more than it should be. Like you said, that some of the like character stuff drags a little bit, but
yeah, I feel like a little bit of the pacing was like slow, but it wasn't terrible. Like it's not like the the scenes that I had problems with weren't like so bad that it like ruined the experience for me. Just
Yeah.
like thinking about it in retrospect, I was like, you know, Jesus, did they really need to have like a 10-minute conversation on Lee's porch about how the car's jealous? You know, like,
Yeah.
it's like that could have been like 3 lines, establish that, and then move
Yeah.
on, you know, or whatever. But
I wish they would have had more with Arnie's parents. And apparently in the book, his parents get killed by the car.
yeah,
I like that Arnie, I mean, I don't like this, but I think it's, like, if this happened in real life, I don't like it, but I thought it was kind of funny in the movie, is where Arnie chokes his dad out.
yeah,
I thought that was pretty funny. Because it's like kind of, it's a little, it seemed very 80s TV almost to me, where it's like they're fighting and all of a sudden he grabs him by the throat and then it's just like his dad's like shocked. And it just was like overacting a little bit. Like they could have been done a little bit better. But I think the parents, again, credit probably to the writing and the time frame. The parents could have been like more concerned and been a bigger part of the movie. But that's not really the point of it. But I think that would
like,
add some more credibility.
Yeah, I mean, like this, it's hard because I'm sure you want to focus a lot on Arnie's relationship with Christine, which the movie does. But I feel like that's at the expense of his relationship with his parents and his relationship with his best friend. Is like, what's his friend's name?
Dennis.
Is just in the hospital for like 2/3 of the movie, and like is barely relevant until he's out of the hospital at the end, and then is like back in it. I feel like we should have gotten more with them, and like I don't know if Dennis is in the hospital in the book or not. I didn't see that anywhere, but like I would have liked to see their roles like reversed, where like Dennis is the cool guy to start and Arnie's the loser, and like I would have liked to see that invert over time and feed into Arnie's kind of like maniacal, you know, obsessions with Christine and be like, oh, you're just mad because I'm the popular one now, you know, kind of shit. Like that's what like I was kind of looking for in it. I mean, like they focus quite a bit on his relationship with his girlfriend Lee, as well. But again, like it just wasn't balanced between the whole set of characters.
Yeah, and I think you've got Kelly Preston in a minor role where she's this girl that likes. Her name starts with an A, I think, in the movie. I'll look it up, but she's like. So it might be like Abby or Amy or something like that. Let me see. Roseanne, I'm completely wrong.
She reminds me of the girl in Wayne's World that stalks Wayne.
Oh, yeah. She's in it. She's so briefly in it, and it's so like they didn't need her. Yeah, they didn't need her character at all. Which I expected that to have some sort of resolution in the movie, but it didn't. You know what I mean? And it's almost like
I totally forgot she existed by the time the movie really got going. Yeah. Like you bringing her up now just clicked in my head. I was like, oh yeah, that was a thing. Like
Kelly Preston.
In the first like 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, I expected there to be more resolution, but also it's like in the end, is Dennis and Lee gonna get together? Like, that also doesn't really have a resolution.
Yeah.
But it seems like it. I don't know. I was kind of confused by that.
In the book, they do.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Earlier. And Arnie actually finds them, like, hooking up and gets pissed. I'm kind of glad they didn't do that.
Yeah, because it kind of fucks the friendship up.
Yeah, I feel like there's...
And that's the core of the movie.
Right. And, like, if there's like a love triangle and it blows up, like what incentive does Dennis really have to go try and help Arnie. Like, there's not much there, in my opinion. So
No, I
I don't
agree.
know. I like the way the movie handled it, where they're just like two friends that are concerned,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
leave it
I
at
like
that.
that too. I like that too. Yeah, so I mean, what's funny is usually we talk about the movies, and we like them more. I feel like talking about it now and how we're talking about it, it's making me like it less.
Well, I
But
can tell you what aspects I really liked about it.
Okay, let's do that. That'll help.
So, I mean, like, all of my negatives, I think I've already gotten out of the way. Like,
Okay.
the pacing, I think, was a little off. Like I said, there was like that imbalance between focus on relationships.
Yeah, definitely.
However, number one, you already kind of alluded to it. The special effects, as always in Carpenter movies, are absolutely top notch. The car repairing itself, though, it's really
So cool.
like, you can tell that they're just running the film backwards, but like, my God, does it look good? Like,
Yeah.
like, it's awesome.
Can I interject and say, can I do a fun fact about that
Yeah,
and
yeah.
how they did it, basically? All right. To simulate the car regenerating itself, hydraulic pumps were installed on the inside of some of the film's numerous Plymouth Fury stunt doubles. A mock-up in plastic that looked more like metal on camera than actual metal as it bent and deformed. These pumps were attached to cables, which were in turn attached to the car's bodywork. When they compressed, they would suck the panels inwards. Footage of the inward crumpling body was then reversed, giving it the appearance of the car spontaneously retaking form, which is super cool.
So
and
cool.
again, very on point for Carpenter with
And I actually
practical effects.
I actually called that. Is my wife asked me, "How do you think they did that?" And I was like, "I'm pretty sure it's like a hydraulic press that's like ripping the car like back."
Very
So
nice.
it's cool that I actually got something right.
How did your wife like the movie?
I think she about the same as me. Like, I think she was like,
Okay.
"Yeah, it's fun. It's
Yeah. Okay.
like, yeah,
Cool. So what else did you
so
like about it?
the effects
Back
are
to that.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then my favorite part of this movie, is Arnie's descent into like some form of madness, like
Yeah.
around Christine, and like his transformation from like the nerd to the greaser to the maniac is kind of excellently done. Again, like, I feel like we could have gotten a little bit more out of that through the relationship dynamics, but like, it is extremely well done. Like, the scene that really hit me was I think it was New Year's Eve when him and Dennis are driving around drinking beer, and he's just like out of his mind, like not paying attention to where they're driving, and like, just like slamming beer, and like yeah, like that scene, I was like, holy shit, like they nailed him, like totally like losing grip on reality. It was awesome. So yeah, like that whole transformation was just so well done.
I think his death scene was a little interesting. I think it could have been better.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. It's hard because, like, I don't know that,
It needed
like,
to
other
be
than
anything
just
crazy.
making it more, like, impactful, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think getting kind of flung out of the car, is like a little, like bittersweet justice,
Yeah. True.
But yeah,
Maybe I just wanted a more emotional reaction from the characters.
yeah,
And I think that's maybe why I think that. Because, I mean, granted, they're in this situation and they can't just, like, instantly grieve
yeah. I mean,
and, like,
that's
freak
like
out.
the most action in the entire movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the climax of the movie. So yeah, there's not a whole bunch of mourning time, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I wanted like a more of a, I don't know, like a, you've got Dennis in the bulldozer and like him. I wanted maybe more reaction from him. I think that's maybe why. Lee
like,
didn't give a fuck because she's like, he's already losing his mind. And
yeah, she was like, whatever, dude.
She's like, go fuck your car.
Like, reading up on the book, the end, like, battle with Christine is actually without Arnie in the car. It's the car acting autonomously.
Yeah.
And fighting against Dennis and Lee, while Arnie is out of town visiting colleges with his mom.
Oh, interesting.
And as the car finally gets like obliterated, the spirit of the owner goes and causes Arnie to get in a car accident on their way home, and him and his mom die on the way home.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's pretty brutal.
And then it's revealed later that Christine killed his dad at some point earlier.
Yeah,
so
fuck
yeah,
you, Dad.
Arnie's entire family gets wiped out. Like,
jeez, brutal.
But
interesting.
Yeah, I think that like the way the movie handles it, I think is a little more impactful. One, because Arnie's actually behind the wheel this time.
Yeah.
In all the like bullies that die, it's heavily implied that Arnie is not in the car.
Yeah.
So I think that makes it's kind of like that final transformation, you know, like it's finally like solidified that he's the one behind the wheel. He's taking out, you know, his like anger on his friends. And maybe that's why he deserves to die.
Hot take.
Yeah, hot take.
So the movie apparently didn't have enough violence to justify an R rating. But they were afraid the movie with a PG rating, because PG-13 obviously didn't exist at the time, nobody would go see it with a movie about a car that was PG. So they purposely inserted the F word and, you know, other derivatives of it in order to get the R rating. Ironically, they were criticized for using the F word in the movie, apparently, at the time, which is weird.
I mean, it is, you do notice that they use it. It may be a tad overused for, like, the context. But, I mean, whatever. They're high school kids.
Yeah. I mean, the one scene that I thought was kind of brutal is when Buddy the car is like in flames, which is super cool, and Buddy gets run over.
That is the other scene in this movie that had me like, fuck yeah, it was when the car's on fire, like driving on the highway. So cool. I was like, dude, this is so metal. It's awesome. Yeah,
it was really cool. Really cool.
And then Buddy's corpse is just like, and just gets lit on fire.
Yeah, it's brutal, dude. I was like, whoa. I like when the other guy, I mean, that's horrible to say. I like the bullies get what they deserve in a sense. You know what I mean? There's justice for them. I mean, maybe they shouldn't die, but it's a movie, people. It's fine. There's the one dude, what's his name? It's like Moose or something like that.
The chubby guy?
Yeah, Moochie, I think. That guy, when he's bullying Arnie and Dennis steps in and they all kind of get in a fight, he like grabs Dennis's sack, this is his private area, and just grabs it and then calls him a dick face, which, again, another line that I just was laughing my ass off at, because it's like, whoa. Just grabs him by the fucking balls, dude. Yeah. It's like, what
and
the
it's like
hell?
a close-up shot, too.
Yeah. I was so shocked by that. I was like, damn. And he gets cut in half by the car, so the cop says.
Yeah.
Which the cop is Harry Dean Stanton, who we know from Alien. We know him from Paris, Texas, and a whole bunch of other movies. He's great. Yeah, I love him. He's so good.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the death scenes where it's autonomously driving is really cool. I like that the windows are like purposely blacked out. I think that's cool, so you can't tell who's in it. I think that was really cool, but apparently it was really hard for the stunt driver to drive at night, which makes total sense because the windows are pitch black. Apparently, and I like the whole climactic scene where they're like fighting the car, if you will, and they bulldoze it. There was apparently 28 Plymouth Furies, excuse me, not Flurry. I'm not a McFlurry from McDonald's. Got dessert on my mind, always. 28 Plymouth Furies that were made for this, or purchased and restored for this film. A few of them were like show cars, and they were used whenever Christine was supposed to look pretty and all fixed up. And then there were hot rod versions with like crazy engines and airplane landing lights for headlights for when Christine has rampages. And then there were like junked and shell car versions of Christine in disrepair for her death scene, and other, beat up ways that the car looks. Apparently there's a way you can tell between the like really nice show cars and the other ones. The show cars have a chrome undergrill, while the stunt cars have a red painted undergrill. So maybe next time if we watch it again, which I don't know if I will, keep an eye out for that. Maybe in the far future I'll watch it again.
Yeah.
There's also apparently a remake from Sony Pictures and Blumhouse Productions in development. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. I know we've talked about other movies having in development sequels, or like legacy sequels or remakes, but who knows these days. I mean, it's a cool movie. I like it. Like I kind of was just alluding to, I don't think I'll watch it again anytime soon. I don't know. What'd you think of our Carpenter Halloween month overall, Jake?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Not all of them were scary.
No, The Thing is the scariest.
Yeah, I mean, they're all really enjoyable. I'm glad we got to watch... Well, I got to watch 3 that I had never seen before.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Yeah, I mean, this is the... The Thing is the oldest of the 4. This is the second oldest, I believe.
82 for The Thing, 83 for Christine, 87 for Prince of Darkness, and 88 for They Live.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and like, one of the things as I was reading about the movie and the book, was Carpenter said that like he kind of took this like begrudgingly, felt like he had to because of the poor performance of The Thing.
yeah.
But he ended up kind of having a blast making this movie. So that's kind of cool. And like, I don't know if like you can kind of tell that the passion isn't in this movie the way it is with the other 3 that we watched that are really like
that's a great
project
point.
movies for him.
Yeah.
But like this movie still has a lot of the hallmarks, that he's known for, and like particularly the effects and the ending of the little thing wiggles and it's like she's not dead yet.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that.
Yeah, so like that kind of stuff is all there. I think it's cool when directors do more mainstream kind of things every once in a while, after doing their like passion project movies.
Yeah.
Just to see like what they do with that more commercial kind of material.
Yeah. Especially with him hating studio films and commercial material.
Yeah.
He wanted to make Firestarter. Which that was kind of his like that he was gunning for, and unfortunately he didn't get to. Which I've never seen that. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it either.
It's on HBO streaming. We might have to watch it.
Which
And
that's
it's Mark L. Lester who did Commando, directed it.
Oh yeah, is that a '80s movie though?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
it wasn't
80
on your list.
84. I know we got to probably let's add it. I want to
it
do
should be.
so. I want to do, and I texted you this personally, Jake. Is I want to do more scary movies. Like we need to find, and you texted me saying you want to do more deranged, like weird movies.
Yeah,
Out of the box stuff, which I'm all for. So
because the '80s is kind of a treasure trove of like totally unhinged like horror movies.
Yeah.
So like finding some of those is.
We'll
be
get to
fun.
that. We pretty much have our schedule. I think we've mentioned it in one of our other podcasts. We've got our schedule pretty much figured out for the rest of the year. But we've got some cool ideas for next year, which is crazy to say because it's coming up. But for the whole month of November, we're going to do all John Candy movies, which he's one of my all-time favorite actors. And I'm very excited because there's some you haven't seen, right, Jake?
I think a lot of them I haven't seen.
You've never seen Uncle Buck?
I have not seen Uncle
Oh,
Buck,
my
so
God. I'm
I
thrilled
think
to go
none
over
of
that
them
one.
I've seen.
You've seen
Or no,
Spaceballs.
I've seen Spaceballs.
Okay,
but none
good.
of the others.
So we'll give away the schedule now, and I'll release it like I do on Instagram. We're going to be doing Spaceballs, Armed and Dangerous, Summer Rental, and Uncle Buck. Which out of all those, I've never seen Summer Rental, and I'm excited for that. But I'm a huge John Candy fan, and he is like America's dad. And even though he's Canadian. But I'm very excited to watch all of those movies. So hopefully you guys enjoyed our John Carpenter's Halloween month. Maybe the movies weren't that scary, but The Thing is classic, and that's probably the winner of this month for the scariest and the best. But I knew that going in with the schedule. So, let us know your thoughts on Christine, and let us know if you're excited for John Candy month next month. We've gotten these themes going, and I think I like that we do themes for the months. I know we'll probably have to mix it up because I want to watch stuff that we both haven't seen. I like doing that, and seeing movies I haven't seen inspires me to watch other movies I haven't seen. So we'll get to that at probably the beginning-ish of next year.
Yeah.
So
is December and January are both themed months as well. So
yeah. We'll get to those. I don't want to spoil those yet, but we'll get to those in our tail end of next month.
Yeah, maybe February will be all random movies that neither of us have seen.
I like that. Cool.
Of random genres, so we can mix it up a little bit.
Definitely. We'll go over the list that we have. So, we thank you guys for listening, and we will catch you next month. Hopefully you guys have a great Halloween. Go scare some kids. Don't run over anyone in your car like you have seen in this movie. Trick or treat, and don't smell my feet.
Yep.
All right, guys. Stupid. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Yeah.
Bye.